Hey everyone, Marguerite here, and I have Doug Minter from Propel Consulting, and he's a management coach and a business advisor, and he's going to tell you a little bit more about himself. But what we're here to talk about is how, when we first started our conversation, he had collected this incredible big network, this database of over 6,300 connections, and how he was never using it and how he wasn't really getting any value out of having this LinkedIn network, and how we helped him a very short period of time to start really digging in and finding opportunities in his network. So, I'm getting a little ahead of myself, so I'm going to yield this to you, Doug. If you could tell us a little bit more about yourself, what you do, and how we started having this conversation.
Sure. I'm a business advisor and management consultant for the Canadian Black Chamber of Commerce in Toronto. And, really working with Marguerite was really eye-opening. It allowed me to lift the veil, if you will, of the value that's inside LinkedIn, and specifically inside my LinkedIn and the 6,300 contacts that I have. I really didn't know how to use it, right? And use it effectively. So this was a great eye-opening experience.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit more. You've been collecting, you have 6,300. That's a pretty decent network, right? What were you using LinkedIn for before?
Yeah, probably in my roles, I've worked in chambers of commerce in the United States. And then when I came to Canada, working with Canadian Black Chamber, primarily it was a way for people to reach out to me, right? It was kind of one-way traffic. It primarily was a great way for people to connect with me, send me messages without having to give out, they didn't have my email or whatever. So it was a great repository of all of the people that I've met. So I knew that I could go back to make contact with people. I know that I couldn't remember that person's name, or I know I have a contact in this, particular field or industry, and I would use it basically just as, contact information on my phone, right? So I would just say, hey, I can search on my LinkedIn for that person, get that message out to them. If I lost their business card or couldn't remember their name, LinkedIn was the way that I was using to kind of source those people. So it was kind of a lazy man CRM, if you will. But you really showed me how to kind of lift the veil and really understand the gold mine that's inside of it.
Exactly. So what was one of the strategies that we talked about that really resonated with you the most?
I think the biggest strategy was, one, just understanding that, I knew you could download your content, but really searching that content. I thought you had to download it first. I really didn't know how to search for, hey, I want to see how many CFOs there are in my network. Maybe I need a CFO, or reach out to someone to see how many CEOs are in my network. So when you're looking for specific targeted people and talent, human capital, for whatever reason, you really showed me a better way of really being able to search.
Right.
And mine those contacts.
I think that's great. And we did find a lot of gold in there, didn't we? That was in your network that you hadn't thought of for a long time. People who would be amazing for your business, and to put a strategy behind it to reach out to them, which is pretty awesome. What would you recommend here for people who are listening as far as the process so far? What would you say that they should take away from this quick conversation that we're having?
Yeah, I think one, that LinkedIn is definitely, especially in the business world, it's definitely something you should be spending quality time every single week, intentionally working LinkedIn to grow your company, to look for human capital. It's the go-to place. That it's the place that you should be spending a lot more time, probably more so than Facebook. I also think you exposed also the value of LinkedIn groups. So, those are two areas I think you need to be spending time in LinkedIn every week, whether it's for sales, whether it's for recruiting, human capital needs, and you should also be using it to build community.
Awesome. Okay. And working with us so far, who do you think that we as a business or this approach is good for? What kind of businesses?
I said anybody that's in charge of sales. Any sales team. I think it's also great for the marketing departments from a social media standpoint, from a building community standpoint. I think every marketer, every sales organization or sales team needs to be looking at LinkedIn.
Okay, excellent. So tell us a little bit more about how people can find you online if they want to reach out and connect with you.
Yeah, so you want to find me online, you can go to LinkedIn and look up Doug Minter, right? So that's what I would tell them to go. Best place to go. Or you can go the 𝗏𝗏𝐵𝐵𝐶. Perfect.
Great. Well, I want to say thank you. That's awesome. Thank you for this. I know we're early in our conversations, but I'm glad that you have gotten some immediate impact from the work we've done together. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who's listened to this right now. Goodbye, everybody. And I hope you got some value out of this interview. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.